you have to decide whether or not your whole 4-year period here with the Democrats have been a lie. Because you were told from the very beginning that Donald Trump was in league with Russian spies. Well, we now know, because of FOIA requests, and the news, they're not covering any of this. We now know that the Steele Dossier, that file that said, Donald Trump is working with the Russians, we now know that it was not only Steele who was discredited by the FBI, and you were not supposed to use anything that came from him because they found it unreliable, but for some reason this time they accepted him. We thought originally, when we laid out the case on impeachment, we said this guy was getting it from his drinking buddies, it appears. Well, now because some things are loosening up and we're getting actual documents out, no, it wasn't from his drinking buddies. His source was an actual Russian spy. Somebody the FBI knew was trying to recruit people in the White House. Not Trump's White House, anybody's White House. He had already been nailed as a Russian spy because he was saying, look, you want to make some extra money. You work in the White House. Maybe we can work a deal. We knew that. So we knew he was an active Russian spy. He's the source of the Steele Dossier. Comey and everybody else knew it. And what was the Russian spy saying? That Donald Trump was working with Russian spies. Now, who do you believe? That's not even the big news today. That's 2 days old. Had you even heard that? That's 2 days old. Now we have this one. I'm going to read this verbatim. This will tell you we are done as a nation if we don't pursue this and clean this up. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI agents tasked by former director James Comey to take down Donald Trump during and after the 2016 election were so concerned about the agency's potentially illegal behavior that they purchased liability insurance to protect themselves 2 weeks before Donald Trump was inaugurated. You have that? New communications and internal FBI notes were disclosed in federal court filings today. The leaked details? Quote, this is from a text from one agent to another. We all went and purchased professional liability insurance. One agent text January 10th, 2017. Same day, CNN leaked the details of the Steele Dossier, which was from Russian spy, we now know. The president-elect had been briefed by Comey about all the bogus Christopher Steele dossiers on that day. That briefing of Trump was used as a pretext to legitimize the debunked dossier, which was funded by the National Committee, Democratic National Committee, the Clinton campaign, and compiled by a former intelligence officer that the FBI had on a do not use as a source list. And his source was a Russian spy. The agent responded, holy crap, you bought insurance? All the analysts too? Next agent, yep, all the folks at the agency as well. Can I ask you who the most likely litigators would be? As far as who's potentially going to sue y'all? Who knows? I think the concern is, when we got it, that there was a big leak at DOJ, and the New York Times, among others, is going to do a piece. The latest documents, a production including handwritten notes and texts from Peter Strzok, Andrew McCabe, Lisa Page, and the FBI analysts who worked on the FBI's investigation of Flynn. Agents also said that they were worried about how a new attorney general might view the actions taken against Trump during the investigation. Shortly after then, Senator Jeff Sessions was confirmed to be Trump's new attorney general. Congressional Democrats, media, and Obama holdovers within the DOJ immediately moved to force Sessions to recuse himself from overseeing the department's investigations on Trump. Quoting, "The new AG might have some real questions. Then yada, 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 we all get screwed," one agent wrote to another. The FBI agents also discussed how the investigation's leadership was consumed with conspiracy theories rather than evidence. I'm telling whoever, if this thing ever gets FOIA'd, there's going to be some tough questions asked, and a great deal of those are going to be related to Brian having scope way outside the boundaries of logic. Redacted, we don't know who it was, is one of the worst offenders of the rabbit holes in conspiracy theories. This guy traveled with that guy who put down a third guy on his visa as a sponsor, though the third guy lives near a Navy base. Therefore, several texts show that the order to close the criminal investigation against Flynn came now as early as November 8th, the same day as the presidential election. But it was opened by Joe Biden and Barack Obama in early January. It was reopened. One text says, "We have some loose ends to tie up, and we all need to discuss what to do with each case after we shut down Razor." Next agent, "So glad they're closing down Razor. That was the investigation on Flynn." New disclosures made by the DOJ also show that the FBI used so-called national security letters to spy on Flynn's finances. Unlike traditional subpoenas, which require judicial review and approval before authorities can seize an innocent person's property and information, NSLs are never independently reviewed by courts. One of the agents noted in a text message that the NSLs were just being used as a pretext by the leadership of the FBI to buy time and find dirt on Flynn after the investigation of him yielded no information. Quoting the text back to one agent to another, "The decision to NSL finances for Razor bought him time," one agent said. "What do we expect to get from a NSL?" the other agent texted back. "We put out traces, tripwires to community. Nothing." Bingo. So what's an NSL going to do? No content. Ha ha, this is a nightmare. "If we're working to close down the case," the other one said, "I'm not sure what NSL results would do to help." "Exactly," said the agent as he wrote back. "That makes no sense." Quote, "Doing all this election research, I think some of these guys want a Clinton presidency," the agent wrote back. In a series of texts sent the same day as the infamous January 5th Oval Office meeting between Biden, Obama, Comey, Sally Yates, and Susan Rice, one agent admits Trump was right when he tweeted that the FBI was delaying his briefings as incoming president so they could cook up evidence against him. As the Federalist first reported, in this operation run out of FBI for Obama. The agent wrote, "So Razor is going to stay open?" He wrote on January 5th. Remember, they closed it November 8th. They're reopening it. So they're going to stay open? Yep. Crimes report being drafted. First agent writes back, F. What's the word on how Obama's briefing went? One agent referred to the January 5th meeting. Don't know, but people here are scrambling for any information to support certain things, and it's a madhouse. Jesus, the agent wrote back. Trump was right. Still not put together. Why do we do this to ourselves? What's wrong with these people? A week later, FBI agents also wrote they suspected that an illegal leak of top secret information about Flynn's phone call with the Russian ambassador to the U.S. Ambassador from Moscow to the news media came directly from the White House. FYI, somebody leaked the Flynn calls to the Wall Street Journal. Man, I am sorry to hear that. I'll resume my duties as chief morale officer and rectify that. Yeah, published this morning in the Washington Post. It included top secret information. It's got to be somebody on the staff. somebody on the presidential daily briefing staff or White House seniors. Documents unearthed during the review showed that the FBI was tasked by the Obama White House in early 2017 with retargeting Flynn. By the way, I've got to take a 1-minute break, but there's still more. And this is only the first shoe. This was not brought out in a big fanfare. This is not what they have. This is what they're leaking to tell everyone. We have the text messages. We know who the agents were. Do you think they're going to take the rap for this one? Because they're all pointing their fingers upward. How high does this one go? So I think so far this is pretty incriminating. So the review uncovered evidence that FBI's interview of Flynn, which later led to charges that he lied to investigators, had no legal basis. And the FBI agents who interviewed Flynn did not believe that he had lied. Contrary to the claims by Mueller's office that Flynn had lied about discussing financial sanctions against Russia during post-election phone calls with Russian ambassador, declassified transcripts of those conversations confirmed that Flynn spoke to the ambassador, but only about expulsions of Russian diplomats, and that the two men never discussed financial sanctions against Russia that was levied by the Obama administration. So in other words, they charged him with saying he's doing fine. He's talking about financial things. He's making a deal. Everything they said Flynn said, now the actual transcript is out. It shows he didn't say that. Previously revealed handwritten notes from the FBI's top counterintelligence official admitted the primary goal of the FBI's anti-Flynn operation was, quote, to get him to lie so we can prosecute him or get him fired. Despite the overwhelming evidence that Flynn did not lie to agents, the FBI had no legal basis to interview him. That the FBI later hid exculpatory documents from Flynn's defense team. Think of this. They set him up, and then they hid documents that showed that he was innocent. Flynn did not discuss financial sanctions during the phone calls, and the FBI agents who interviewed didn't believe that he lied, but the federal court, the federal judge, refused to dismiss the case against Flynn. Instead, Sullivan personally appointed a left-wing shadow prosecutor whose partners represent former DOJ official Yates to smear Flynn and attempt to continue the baseless criminal case against him. At one point last April, Sullivan even tried to order the DOJ to stop producing and publicly filing exculpatory evidence for Flynn or evidence of FBI misbehavior during its investigation of Flynn. Is this the kind of country you want? Is this the kind of, if they do it to these people, if they will just be this brazen and the FBI agents all know it and they're all going, geez, what are we doing, man? If the FBI agents are afraid of the superiors in the deep state, how afraid should you be? You think they're not going to do this? You don't think that they can keep evidence that clears your name? Damn right. I've had it done to me by the U.S. government. I've had it done by the Obama White House. They will do it to you. This must be stopped. We have to make a decision. Are we a nation of laws? Or are we just a nation of men? And if you're on the right side, you get away with it. Enough is enough. America decides in Red November.